All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I am Sydney Gates, joined by Ryan Clavette. We are on the HighByte sales team, and today we're going to talk a little bit about our factory API. Ryan, I know that we listen to our customers' feedback and we make product enhancements based on their input, and one of those latest enhancements is our factory API. Can you tell me what that means in your own words?
Sure. So I guess traditionally Intelligence Hub initiates the processing of data via a pull or an event trigger, where we set a specific interval or specific endpoint that we listen for that basically initiates the processing. But what we've observed from a lot of our customers is that there's some use cases where those external applications or the external consumers of the data need to impose or require the ability to initiate data processing. So Factory API enables this and merely makes it so we can provide data when that application is going to request it.
That's super interesting. Can you elaborate a little bit further on what the REST data server is used for?
Sure. So the REST data server essentially is a the endpoint that we interact with for the industrial data API that exposes basically all the different components in the intelligence hub for external applications to interact with securely through our REST data server. So specifically, we're going to be looking at pipelines today and going into a little bit more about how that is configured.
Very cool. I'm sure everybody watching is curious to see what this will look like from our user's perspective. Is there a chance you can demonstrate?
Sure. So we'll start with just a review of the REST data server. So when that's enabled, this is kind of all the different endpoints that you can interact with. So specifically for here, we're going to be looking at this post pipelines that we're going to basically be interacting with a specific pipeline and having a return value for our consumers. So that's kind of step one, is making sure that the REST data server is enabled. And then when it comes to actually building the factory API, what's unique about that design is we're going to be utilizing some new triggers here. So API trigger is basically going to be what starts the processing of the data. So as mentioned, traditionally this was just, a poll or an event, every 5 seconds, or, every time this tag changes from an OPC server. But now what this is doing is basically just making this exposed to the REST data server by this name, and designed in a way that we can also accept parameters from that external application. So in this case, when we're walking through a demonstration around Tulip, so Tulip is going to be basically providing an element ID. So I've enabled a parameter for this use case, and I'm utilizing it in a read to our Pi historian. So what this is really cool is we can basically stage this in a way that we're going to accept new parameters from those external sources. So that really kind of speaks to the scalability aspect of kind of designing this thing once and allowing those external applications to pass parameters into us. So that will do the read, that will do some additional kind of logic around the data, and then we get the return. So kind of in summary, this is a little bit of a new design pattern where we don't have a pull or an event trigger, we have an API trigger, and we don't have a write, we have a return. So what this looks like, if I go into my Tulip application here, this is configured in a way that's interacting with that REST endpoint. If I click this button, this makes that call into the REST data server and returns the, in this case, Pi metrics of temperature and time. If we go back to our replay on the pipeline, we can see that that was successful at 6:19. The trigger was our REST data server, and everything was successful.
Very cool. To me, this seems like it enables greater data accessibility for our users. Is that the same opinion that you have? And what kind of value does this have for somebody who's using the Intelligence Hub? And what does this mean for our current users?
Yeah, I think that's dead on there, Sydney. It's really all about the data accessibility piece. So, from observations from our user base, there was scenarios where those external applications needed the ability to say, "Hey, give me that data." And now with Factory API, we can configure use cases accordingly. So really, it puts the power back in the consumer in that that solution design to say, "Hey, I need to be the one that says, give me this data. And I can even be the one that says, give me this data based on this specific parameter set that that external application is going to be, utilizing and sending to the Intelligence Hub.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty awesome in my opinion. And if somebody out there is watching and agrees and wants to get started with the Intelligence Hub, how would they go about doing that?
Sure. So I think the easiest way is going to our website of highbyte.com, going to the top and doing request trial. And we have a completely free 2-hour trial that you can select in this option. It's the full version, gives you, the ability to work in 2-hour increments, infinitely resettable, and have access to our knowledge base and reference solutions and start, basically exploring by doing.
Sweet. Yeah. So if you are curious about the Intelligence Hub, feel free to get started today with our 2-hour trial. And we hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for watching this video.